The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with the PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chases. And before I get things started, you know how I do. I got to give a shout out to all of the members of the Green Gorilla channel. And let's do that now. I want to give a shout out to Damon Harris, Brian McMurray, Ethan Hines, Mr. Lou Meth, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Shop Talk Live, Jones Boy, Ryan Jackson, The Face, Mr. Heat, David the Man, Afro Sigma, NEU, Ronan Martin, Black Quizzard, ADOS, Camp Low, Isa Abdul Sahir, Sir Anthony, Deshaun Nolly, Aaron Lloyd, MLR, Charles Rogers, Black Dog, Brother Love, Infamous Chillin', Universal 178, Blacksword 404, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, C Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, The Nameless Protagonist, Black Pill Ned Stark, Author Unknown, Odd Collard, Roderick Jackson, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Brian Williams, Kalan Jakala, Sherrod Martin, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, True 7360, BK Born Shaheed, James Washington, Hostile Adept, Seventh Coast Dojo, W. Pierre One, Rogish the Billmonger, I Care, Force Windu, Lady Miss Thing Green, BGS Ibmore, and Marvin Battle Jr. Thank you so much for being members of the Green Gorilla channel. I swear to God, man. Every time I hear myself doing this, man, with this crazy music, man, I straight up, man, I break out in laughter behind the scenes. And let me just say this. I saw the movie Joker not too long ago. I think it was last week that I saw the movie Joker. And I swear to God, man, I did all of this without having any knowledge of the Joker or anything. But it just, in retrospect, man, I might have changed the theme of the show with something more urban other than this. Because I don't want to think, I have people think I'm going to start taking snipes at people or anything like that. I'm just being silly, man. But this it cracks me up, man. I swear to God, I ain't gonna even lie. But on a different note, what I want to do is just get right into the proceedings without letting you know how to be a member of the channel. If you want to, you can subscribe. If you want to, you can join. All you have to do is hit the join button right next to the subscribe button, and then you too can be a member of the Green Gorilla channel. But what I want to do is get right into what I want to talk about. So she's over 64 and wants to be by herself. But prior to having a discussion about that, I see you, Progressive New Jersey Indy, with the rejoin. Thank you so much, sir, for rejoining. I always love to retrieve my wayward and my straying brothers. So welcome back. I see Goshen's in the house, and Damon Harris, and Dr. Tiasan Johnson is here. Also Malika Mabane and some other brothers. Xavier Sifo and AJ. What's going on with y'all, man? So, look. Okay, so I found this article, right? And the article was about the new reality of dating over 65. Now, I don't know if you know about black men and the age at which they expire. You can tell. Okay, so it's misleading that I would put a picture of an elder black woman on the thumbnail. Okay? However, I put it there because I'm becoming aware now of copyright infringement issues and how over time you need to make sure that you use royalty-free stock photos. And that photo was one such photo. So it's what I used. But the article is detailing the opinions of an elderly white woman. Okay. And I'll pull that up in a second. But before I get to it, and we will get to it, but I will say this: a lot of black women are patterning their behavior after white women. Now tell me I'm lying. If I am lying, some of the choices that they're making and the lifestyles that they're living are being patterned after that of white women. So there's no reason for me to believe that later on you will begin to see black women perform some of the same kind of actions as they begin to increase in age. But there's this saying, right, amongst men in the manosphere, or men who are going their own way, or men who are intellectual black men of refinement, or men who are saving themselves, as do the men of Save Yourself Black Man. There's this conversation about how after a certain age, women begin to hit the wall. That is, as the older they get, the less alluring they become. That's what it normally is said, that the sexual market value of a woman who is approaching her 40s is much less high than that of a 25-year-old or even a 30-year-old. But as they begin to reach the age of 40 and beyond, then their sexual market value depreciates considerably. Now, I want you to see, I want you to take a gander at what women have to say about this. So what they say is, look, let me share this because it tickles me, man. Okay, so there's a blog called Fluently Forward. Okay, and the title of it, it's old, it's last year, but it's around the same time last year as this year. But so stop bullying women about hitting the wall because Father Time comes for us all, and his hairline is receding. Okay, now, and this shit is funny to me. Hold on, I said the word shit, so I gotta make it express before I continue, because every now and then I'm gonna say something that is pejorative in nature. So let me just get this out of the way. The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. Okay, so Father Time is coming for us all. His hairline is receding. So they say there's a common internet-born theory. Which to me is ridiculous that someone would consider this sentiment to be something that's internet-born. Like men thought all of a sudden, in the context of this new technology, that younger women are hotter. The younger women are more malleable, and it's easier to work with them than it is to work with, I don't know, I don't want to say anything absolutely insulting to older women, but you know, that a young, supple young lady is not going to be as difficult to deal with, perhaps, than maybe a, old mare. That didn't come out. But I mean, you get the picture, okay? So I've had friends tell me, like, look, it's a hot young girl, man, coming off the line, the assembly line, every day, bro, every day. And they are going to be maturing into adulthood every year, every day of every month of every year. But then the question becomes, what is that to you? What does it mean to you? Does that mean that you're going to have access to these younger girls? And if so, how? So this is what these women think about. They say they come up with the incel scale, man. So everybody knows. I'm actually brand new to understanding what incel means. I just have to be honest about that. Incel, involuntarily celibate, is what it means. Okay, never knew what this meant because throughout the entirety of my life, man, ever since even before I reached 18, I don't know, I just was able to engage in sexual encounters with the opposite sex, and not that this is something that I don't know, is to be lauded or applauded, because if I could take back the hands of time, I wouldn't fuck around with half of these motherfuckers I was fucking with. I'm just keeping it real. I made a hook to a song a long time ago. It went something like this. She's a hot little mama, fast like a race car. Don't try to touch her, boy. If you do, you get burned. You get burned. You get burned. You get burned. You need to leave some of these motherfuckers alone, man. They'll get you in a heap of trouble. But anyway, I don't want to take too long in doing this because this can turn into 2 hours easily. I don't want it to go that far. But so they have an incel scale because they think that incels are the only people who think this way. That the involuntarily celibate are somehow expressing the sentiment of sour grapes by talking about older women hitting the wall. So then they say, okay, you got different levels to this shit here. You got level 3 inceldom. No job, no friends. You are trash. Pure, true sell. A man too damaged to even leave the house and can't ask girls on dates. Can't get rejected because he can't even ask. Pure basement dwelling. The peak of social isolation, failure of existence. Okay. All right. Don't know anybody like that, but I'm sure there's some people like that, I guess. I don't know. So then they go on to what they consider to be level 2 inceldom. They have a job and male friends and might live, but their standard, okay, is out and about in the world asking for dates both in person and online, but getting rejected endlessly. Lookism, hypergamy, and black pill prove that this man will never get a yes to a date request ever. Then they got a computer nerd in the basement. Now, this is an old ass picture. This guy's got a cigarette. He's probably making a lot of bank if he's got a computer back then any fucking way. But, I digress. I don't want to get too far off the path. And level 1 incident. Looks max and you might be okay. Premium incel. You can get dates and has been on dates, but for one reason or another can never close with kiss sex and can't turn the date into a series of dates and eventually a relationship. He's passable enough for girls to date, but too ugly for girls to ever commit to him anyway. So I'm saying this, look, for every action, there's an equal and an opposite reaction. So if you start saying shit to them, then they cook up theories and ideals of their own about what's real. Okay? Now, the funny thing, though, before I even move forward is, you know, I'm almost 50 years old. I've never, ever had an online date. I've never been on Tinder or any of these other sites. I just never done it. Never. Never even tried it. Well, maybe I put a profile up, but I never took it seriously. I just fucked around with it and let it go. And the next thing you know, I was swimming in something. If you catch my drift. But so I just don't understand internet dating. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you young guys understand it. You get it. Sliding into the DMs and all. I just consider that to be, it's not spontaneous to me. It's too much planning, too much orchestration, too much trying. I'm like, I'm the guy. If I see something right there in front of me, I'm going to go after that right there. Mall, supermarket, library, school, wherever the case may be, that's what I'm going to do. But that's how I was raised. I'm an OG. So, but then, okay, so level O inceldom, eat shit and sign off incels, me, fuckface, or fake cell, whatever. Fake cell normalite. Has had sex before, has some female friends. He just hasn't had sex in decades. Damn, decades? And hangs around with incels because he can't repeat his success. But he's achieved success, and for that reason, doesn't deserve to be here. But I mean, come on, man. Like, one of the easiest things to do in this world is to have sex. I mean, that's not a difficult thing to do. I mean, damn, like, how difficult is it to fuck? I'm asking a question. It's somebody for everybody. I mean, every woman out here is not like a fucking 9 or a 10. You get what I'm saying? So, look, I just don't understand the internet shit. I just don't get it. I don't understand men who are having difficult times having sex. I mean, or have had difficult times having sex. I'm not someone who's able to identify with that. Actually, I find it off-putting for people who I find it difficult to actually respect people who consider what we're doing here to be a function or a factor related to our ability to be able to have sex. That's not my reason for being in this space at all. I mean, I could personally, honestly, give two fucks about fucking around with one of these raggedy ass motherfuckers out here nowadays. I'm being honest with you. I'm just being absolutely honest. If it comes, it comes in the way that it comes, but you got to be careful nowadays because one wrong move could land you in a heap of trouble. But going back, so the idea is that the wall was a theory born from incels and small pockets of men on the internet where they claimed that women are most attractive and really only to be tolerated between the ages of 18 and 25. Once women turn 26, their attractiveness has peaked, they hit the wall, and will only decline in physical attractiveness from that point on. So they use the term sexual market value to describe this. And then they go into this riff about how human beings stopped selling others in the marketplace based off their appearance a long time ago. Apparently the term is fine. Whatever, okay? Interestingly enough, the people who believe this also believe that the opposite holds true for men. They believe that men hit the wall at age 50. Interesting, huh? Then they got a transgender motherfucker there, which, if that's what you're into, go ahead. But obviously, these men know what they're talking about. But I would like to humbly offer my opinion as a woman. It's a slim chance that I, a woman, know more about women than these men do. But I'm going to try to give it a shot. Let's start with this. The wall is not true. she says, the concept of people reaching peak attractiveness and then steady declining, that is true. I'm not an idiot. This concept is a fact. Every single person in life will have a most attractive time in their life. And that can vary depending on the weight, the hairstyle, the confidence, the age. Yes, age is definitely a big factor. Clothing, lifestyle, the list goes on, blah, blah, blah. But the groups of people online holding the wall to the strict standard of the stroke of midnight on your 26th birthday is insane. Everyone experiences their peak at a different time. The most popular girl in my high school was stunning at age 17 and went downhill from there. I mean, this is true about some people. Some people look great when they're younger, and then 10 to 15 years later, they look terrible. And then the inverse is true. Some people look terrible in high school. And then at 30, you're looking at her like, damn. I mean, this is the way shit goes. This is true. People do have different times at which, you know, they look good and better or worse. And it's all a function of biology or, the kind of life you've lived and whether or not you've had children and, whether or not you've been, subjected to certain stressors in the environment and so on and so forth. But there is the case that can be made that some women look better at 30, 35 than they do at 22. Okay, so I'll give you that. Okay. And then she goes on to point to various persons and so on and so forth. And then she comes in to say, I am very red pilled. So then she said, I'm not going to sit here and say that all women look their best in their 60s. No, they don't. I can tell you right now, if you're over 50, you're probably no longer nifty as a woman. I'm just being honest. You've reached menopause at that point, and especially if a man's willing, or looking to reproduce and still have a family and some kids and to leave, their kids with something or to leave a legacy, he's not going to want someone 50 years old. He's not going to want it, even if he's 50 himself. Let's just be honest about this. Let's just keep this real. We don't have to lie about this. These are facts. But anyway, typically people, when they are in their 20s, do look their best. My problem is the hordes of online men who use this ideology to bully and intimidate women. Now, the question to me is, how is the fact that life is about degeneration? That's what it is. You bloom and you degenerate. That's the world. That's every living organism goes through the process of birth, life, and death. They bloom and blossom, and they're a flower looking the best that they can look, and then they recede. This is the way of the world. This is every sentient being will go through this. Every living organism will go through a process of birth, life, and bloom during that life, and then a kind of ebb and ebbing, as it were, a withdrawal of life. That's just the way it goes. But anyway, they say so many men out there use this 25 age barometer to whether or not they have to fake respect a woman in hopes of getting laid. Look, I'm just going to be honest myself personally. I don't want to date a 25-year-old. If I ever came across one, I couldn't fuck with her. I couldn't. Because like KRS said, the girls look so good, but their mind is not ready. I don't know. I'd rather talk to a woman because her mind is so steady. But that's just me. I mean, maybe back in yesteryear, that might be a cool little thing to do. But look, I'm 50 almost. What I look like fucking around with a 25-year-old? That's just me personally. Now, I mean, you can do what you want to do. I'm just saying, in my case, probably no. Okay? But I'm digressing too much. I need to get to this. Okay? Look, Then she goes into, just look what happened to Emma, who turned 30. She still looks the same as she did when she was 22, and proudly said that she was fine with being single, so on and so forth. But then the question, I mean, it gets begged. If women are starting to believe that it doesn't matter what age they are, they don't look worse or they don't start to decay at 30. They don't start to decay at 35 or 40. I'm telling you, when women hit the age of 40, now there's some bad looking motherfuckers out here at 40. I'm just going to keep it real. There are some bad motherfuckers out here, okay? That's the truth. But most women ain't bad, even at 25, man. Let's just be real about this, man. Most women are not bad to the motherfucking bone at 25. So it's going to be a rarity for a man to find a woman as bad as a motherfucker at age 40. But then this just begs the question again. Is there something to this wall? Is it real? The wall. Or is it relative? And do women's sexual market value go down? And at what point, realistically, to women, do men's sexual value go down? Does it go down? Does it ever begin to recede? Does it ever begin to diminish? That's a question that you have to ask. Answer. It's a question I'm asking, but it's up for you to answer. You know, you reach a certain age, it's like, hey, it's time to stop playing games. It's time to start, thinking differently. But this is why I bring this up. I bring it up as a way to transition into the next article, which I'm going to do after I take a quick break. But I wanted to give you the idea that there's some women who are resisting against this idea of the wall. And even there are some women, even after they hit the wall, they say they don't want to have shit to do with a man at all. So we'll be back with that in a quick second. So we're back. I'm the G with a PhD. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely. Straight up, no chaser. I want to give a shout out to Michael Ross. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind donation. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I'd also like to give a shout out to G Rock. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your kind donation as well. Thank you, sir. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Camp Low. Thank you so much for your kind donation, sir. I appreciate it. And I'm leaving the line open. If someone wants to come on and they want to express their opinion, I see there is someone by the name of Time to Work. Apparently, they're not working right now, but they can work on the Green Gorilla channel and express their opinion and let me know, what is it to you? You're here. This is the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, with no motherfucking chases. God damn. I tell you, I let people know. I tell them all the time, if you don't like what you hear in this space, you can get the fuck down the road. Now, if you want to express your opinion, you can. You can. You can come on. Come on now. Comes on in now. Come on in now. Don't you get afraid now. Come on. Talk. If you have got something to say, get it off your chest. But I'm straight no chaser in this space, man. I say what I want. I'm a G. I'm an OG, but I am a G. And I can talk about what I damn well please. I'm toxic. I mansplain on the Green Gorilla channel. Now, look, I jest, okay? I'm an asshole, okay? I'll just admit it. I've always been that way to some degree or another. I'm not an absolute asshole. I will engage you in a conversation, but only if you show respect. Only if you come with respect. See, I believe in reciprocity. If you are reciprocitous and generous in the way you approach me, I definitely will reciprocate that sentimentality. I'll give you respect if you give me respect. But if you start tripping, then I'm going to start tripping. And then we're going to be engaged in some bullshit. But I'm digressing. Ultimately, I say this because we're dealing with a new reality here, okay? And increasingly, the thought or the sentiment is that men have an advantage as it pertains to the dating game because there are going to be all of these lonely women who eventually are going to wind up as pick-me's, and they'll pick any man. They'll be like in a scramble to pick some miscellaneous man in order to couple with in their older or, their golden years. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to determine is if the growing trend is one in which all women don't want to be with men anymore. They've decided to go their own way as well. They've decided they don't want to have anything to do with a man as they get up there in age. And I think it's worth taking a look at. It's worth taking a look. So let's look at it. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to go into the new tab. And then I'm going to read through it. It's a very, very short article. And then after that, I'm dipping off and you don't have to deal with me anymore tonight. Okay? But here's the article. And the article says, the new reality of dating over 65. Men want to live together. Women don't. So this article was published same time of year, last year. Okay? Same article published last year, just like the other one I just read. So the idea is that these older women, they don't want to live with men. And if that's the case, what does this mean in relation to the whole concept of the wall? Or is this really true, or is this just an anomaly? Is this, something that's a tangent, not really part of the norm? I mean, that's something for you to answer. So the idea is the new reality. And then this is how it starts. So this is the 65-year-old woman, a Becky, a Karen. Too old for Becky, too old for Karen. I call her Miss Ann. But she has a real name. I don't want to get into that. That's unnecessary. So the article talks about some guy named Antonio. He's 66. He's a believer in marriage. He's been married 3 times. And he wants to get married again. Now, damn, bro. Antonio, man. Ain't you tired of the torture, bro? I mean, god damn, man. I mean, you want to go do that bullshit again and again and again and put yourself through that bullshit again, bro? Come on, bro. But I guess he did. So for more than a decade, and he's a writer, he's been dating a widow. So he's already in a relationship, but he wants to get married. He's dating a widow, a woman who's had a husband, but the husband died. Okay? The two see each other every couple of months, but Alfonso wants more. He's proposed 5 times, only to be rebuffed with every try. Now, Alfonso, I'm just going to keep it 100, bro. If you ask a woman to marry you and she does not marry you, if you want to marry her and she does not marry you, bro, it's time to give up on that, man. It's time to ride on out, bro. You do not stay with a woman who's told you no. The relationship's done, bro. It's over, man. I'm telling you. Bruh. It's over, bruh. It's done, man. Ain't no way in the world, personally, that I would stay with a woman who I asked to marry me. And she said no. Fuck her. Holla at you. Bye. She doesn't want to, she does not see you like that. So leave it alone. One thing you don't need to do is you don't need to ask people the same question over and over and over again, man. You don't do that. You don't ask people the same question over and over and over. Maybe 2 times. Maybe 3, but definitely not that question. That's too big of a question to ask and to be rebuffed about. Because what men do is they go all out of their way to prove, to show their value and their worth and all of this. And they can get rejected, but the women don't have to worry about rejection at all. They don't have to worry about that shit at all. It's men who have to bear that responsibility and have to bear that ordeal, not women. Although there are a lot of women who poke and prod and pressure men into doing this shit. So anyway, he proposed 5 times. That's your mistake right there, bruh. I'm just letting you know, Antonio, in case you're tuned in, which I highly doubt, but you get the picture. The older woman refused to live with him because she wanted to travel and be free. I have to ask, and I always ask, so what do you want from me, he said. Come on, bruh. 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 Bruh, bruh, bruh. She wants to travel and do what? She wants to travel and be free. You know what that means, Antonio? You know what it means, bruh. Hey, man.
Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.
You got her own thought, bro. She getting a groove on, man. She is not just fucking around with you. Somebody needed a wall. The wall is not slowing her down, bro. But okay, I'm digressing. Okay. The pair took a 2-year hiatus, meaning they didn't fuck with each other for 2 years, during which Alfonso tried dating other senior age women, only to find that they too were reluctant to share a home. This even as Alfonso said he cooks and keeps a tidy house. Alfonso, bro, you're working too hard, bro. You're doing too much, bro. You're a nice guy, bro. You're too nice. You walking around with no dignity, bro. Begging and shit. Come on, bro. But this is not about Alfonso as much as it is about his partner. He goes on to say, I really believe that women no longer need men whatsoever. And they don't, Alfonso. And then he says, I'm totally irrelevant. See, Alfonso, what you done fucked around and did is you have tied all of your value and your worth into being into a relationship. Antonio, bro. No, man. No. No, sir. No. I mean, Alfonso, not Antonio. Alfonso. No. You're not irrelevant. That relationship is irrelevant. You might even find another relationship to get into, but you acting like you desperate out here, bro. That's why on these elderly streets, you can't keep no peace, bro. That's why, bro. That's why your drum ain't hitting, bro. You begging, bro. Anyway, he says, the push and pull with his partners reflects a rift emerging between single women older than 65 and the men that they date. Now, let me just say this, man. I rarely dated women older than myself. I mean, I did recently date an older woman. She was a little older than I was. And the more I looked at her, the more less alluring she looked. I started to see shit that I didn't want to see. I mean, it's different if you grow old with somebody. But if that motherfucker's rapidly decaying, man, and turning into a corpse right in front of your eyes, hey, man, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Can't do it, bro. I mean, this sounds fucked up. Look, hey. Anyway, what Alfonso is going through, some people see is not uncommon. That it's becoming a trend, right? And that increasingly older men are encountering resistance from older women who want their own lives and they don't want a full-time relationship. While many in this generation of heterosexual, divorced, or widowed women want male companionship, they don't necessarily relish the thought of moving in with a man. Today, say researchers studying this cohort, more older women are rejecting the downsides of the live-in relationship, the codependence, the daily tension within close quarters, and the sacrifices made keeping a home, caregiving, and doing the emotional legwork to keep their unions humming. Some of these women completely forego dating, while others opt for living apart together, in which partners in committed relationships choose to keep separate residences. Now, see, a lot of men prefer this arrangement. But you know, the funny thing I've always noticed with women is that women demand, like if Alfonso start finding other motherfuckers to fuck with, then guess what? It end up happening. Becky, Miss Ann lose her goddamn mind. Miss Ann be at the motherfucking house trying to burn the car up and knock down the door with a motherfucking axe or some shit. We all know how it goes, man. We all know how it goes. Let Alfonso find some more of that old side piece. Oh man. Okay, anyway, more than 68% of seniors residing alone in 2016 were women. So look, the way I see this shit, they're trying to turn something that would normally be perceived as negative and to talk about the bright side of it. That's how I perceive this whole article. So at some point, you could debate it, but the question is whether or not this is sour grapes or is this something women are coming to terms with and actually they desire. They don't want to be with your ass. They don't want to fuck with you. They're cool with being independent. So it seems like White women are picking up the black women card and putting it in their pocket and using it like a Federal Express. I don't need no man. I mean, think about it. After you done fucked around and was married, you're divorced or widowed. Now you want to get into a relationship. Now you got to share potentially maybe that money with your husband, your new husband. And now these older women have careers or they got retirement money. They ain't looking to saddle up. It's just a thought. What does this change? Does it change anything at all? These are questions I never asked anyway. I never really even gave a shit. I never thought about it. I'm still not thinking about it. So anyway, more than 68% of citizens residing alone in 2016 were women. And this is a Canadian article. Widowhood used to account for much of this gender disparity, with women often outliving men. Now divorce is driving the trend. The share of separated or divorced singers living alone more than tripled between 81 and 2016, according to the agency. Increasingly, it is a personal choice, not death. This sees senior-age women going it alone, with 72% reporting they were highly satisfied living on their own, according to data from the 2017 General Social Survey. Today, this reticence to cohabitate is driving a wedge between the sexes. Many older heterosexual men still prefer living with a partner. So this is white man blues. Black men been going through this shit. This is a trend that's been existent for black men. But I'm digressing. Among senior solo dwellers, men were significantly more likely than women to say they intended to marry or form a common law union in the future. And men in this space are not opting to do that shit at all because they are very aware of the dangers associated with cohabitating with a woman or marrying a woman, only to have the script flipped on you, and then you end up penniless when you thought you were buying into security and stability. In heterosexual relationships where partners over the age of 65 lived apart, men often assumed they or their girlfriends would move in eventually, while women clung to the solo arrangement. So this shit is like flipping the script. It used to be the old player, the playboy, didn't want to settle down. Now the women are like, I don't want to settle down. I don't want to fuck around and get married again. Jerry. So they're enjoying their free time without responsibility for others. And this is what all this shit boils down to. Women not wanting to have any responsibility for anyone else but themselves. That's what all this shit boils down to. Now, one could argue whether or not half of these women acquired what material means they have and what retirement security they have through the relationships that they've had with men, whatever the case may be. You can't make a widow get remarried. Okay? If she feels like she's been down the aisle before, she's been down that beaten path before, doesn't want to do it anymore, fine. Can't really fault her, right? If she's got her own, let her have her own. My suggestion to Alfonso would be stop begging these broads, man. Old, young, whatever. Stop begging them. Find meaning in your own life. Find something of value to do within your own self. Stop looking to partner and pair with people who have no interest in partnering and pairing with you. It's just that simple. It's a headache anyway. They're saying it's a headache. You don't want somebody who perceives a relationship as being a headache. For what? It's going to be a headache to you. Your presence is going to be a headache. But the fucked up thing about it is, let you start fucking around with somebody else, or you lose interest in the relationship, then guess what happens? You know what happens. But anyway, in heterosexual relationships with partner over the age of 65 lived apart, men thought that the women were going to eventually shack up or get married, right? But these women are like in their free time. According to in-depth interviews conducted in 2013 by the University of Victoria sociology professor Karen Kobayashi and Laura Funk, that's what they're talking about, this whole arrangement thing. For a generation of men, traditional live-in relationships remain important because female partners meet so many of their social, emotional, health, and domestic needs, said Sharon Hyman. Now, this is funny that they would couch this in these terms. This is an article I feel. Now, Canada is fucking feminist central. You must know that. This is a propaganda piece, if you ask me. Ultimately, they're saying that women are coming into their own and they don't feel like doing emotional or care work for men. That's all this shit is. I can tell where it's going right now. I didn't read through the entirety of the article, but I can see where it's going. I can see it. So they're saying that men are dependent and they don't want a dependent man. Ultimately, they're arguing that men are big babies. This is what this fucking article is about. Women have wider circles of friends. Men don't see they are relying on women for more. For men, often we hear it's not easy for them to be on their own. So in other words, these men are alone. These women have vital, so-called vibrant social networks of friends, circles of friends. Like men don't have circles of fucking friends. I'm confused about this. Don't you guys have circles of friends? Oh man. And look, my experience with women has been over the long haul. You start smashing them, then they want some sort of relationship. Because they don't want to just be perceived as somebody getting smashed. So then you end up fucking around with them. By de facto, you end up in a relationship. And then you end up in a suboptimal situation if you don't basically set your parameters and let it be known what your expectations are. Anyway, I digress. A number of social factors have sent women 65 plus hurtling toward independent lives. Chief among them is financial independence. If they don't need you for money, they don't fuck with you. Even the older guys. But this is what's funny, like listening to it, like somebody like Kevin Samuels. You got all these women who come on this show. All of these women who come on this show, and they're looking to figure out what they can do to be desirable to a man. So obviously they want relationships. They're figuring that they want to be in a relationship. And apparently, it seems like to me, half of these goddamn women are looking for men who got a lot of bread. They assume that they can get into a network of men by fucking with Kevin, that they can get into a network of men who's going to be able to pay their fucking bills and to take care of them financially. I wouldn't want to fuck with a woman like that, no way. That's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't want to have shit to do with none of them motherfuckers calling in. Well, do you think I want a man like... They got all these men that they've been fucking with, all of them. I ain't seen one damn woman to come on the show that said that they ain't got nobody they fucking with. They always talking about, well, I was dating somebody and he wasn't suitable for me. Some of them have children with these men. Some of them are dating men who are willing to accept them and their children, but it ain't good enough for them. That shit ain't good enough for them. He ain't doing what I want. He ain't the kind of man I want. He ain't a high value man. Like, the way I see it, man, it's just opportunism, man. That's how I see it. But I'm digressing. I want to rush through the rest of this article, man, and get the hell up on out of here. A number of social factors, again, have women hurtling towards independent lives, especially women over 65. Financial independence. They've had careers, they're liberated, and they're not dependent on the guy. When they hit this age, they're not going to revert back to being their mothers and their grandmothers. So, I mean, this is, look at how they're characterizing this shit. To me, it's like there's no benefit from men and women being entangled in intimate partner relationships. That's the shit that's what they're saying. This is all part of the destruction of the family and the destruction of the entirety of the concept of men and women actually forming pair bonds with each other. That just seems to me what this is about. This is a further reinforcement of that kind of thing. But who wants an older woman any fucking way than an older ass man? Older women are forging the kind of relationships or partnerships they want because society now allows for different kinds of relationships, said Dr. Helen Fisher. Fisher is 74, lives separately from her partner of 5 years, calling it a blessing. I got a whole social network. I like to go to the theater, the symphony, and to various lectures with friends. He's welcome if he wants to. Fisher, I mean, that shit sound low maintenance to me. But let Billy Bob or Robert start fucking around with some old snapper for somebody else. Then guess what's gonna happen? Fisher spends 3 nights at her apartment in New York and the rest at her partner's home. By this stage of their lives, they both accumulated too much stuff to cram into one residence. She has an office at his house, and he gets half a closet at her apartment. It's almost like a continual courtship. The little things don't bother you because you can go home. Many women resist moving in with men because they remember previous marriages and the unequal division of labor at home. I'm telling you, this is a feminist propaganda piece, man. This is a propaganda piece encouraging and trying to get women to be independent and to not fuck around and be dependent on men. And to not have to, nor to want to, nor to try to. That's what this is. And they're making women being alone, but they're not alone, right? Because they have these great friendships and they have shit to do. And they don't want to take care of a man who, is going to make them do care work. Because they remember the previous marriages and the unequal division of labor at home. Having a place of their own, she said, offers senior-aged women time to rest, think, and pursue their interests instead of feeling exhausted by the chore wars. The chore wars. I mean, think about this shit, man. The day we live with dishwash, I never understood the chore wars. I still do not understand the fucking chore wars. You got microwaves. You got ready-made meals and shit that all you got to do is pop it into the fucking oven. You got vacuums. Motherfuckers ain't got to sweep carpets and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand the concept of chore wars. Men and women duking it out, trying to figure out who's going to do the most in the house and shit. I never got it. I still don't get it. I just don't understand it. Look, I lived with a woman for a while, and I did more in that fucking house in 30 fucking minutes than this motherfucker would do in 3 to 4 hours. Because if you're determined to fucking work and get the work done, God damn it, you get to it, you get it done. It's just simple as that. I don't like to fuck around and bullshit and waste time with fulfilling tasks. It don't matter what it is. I'm going to get to it, get it done, be done with it, man. All this crying and shit about, I have to do more, and I have to do more, and I got to do more. Man, fuck all that, man. That's some bullshit, man. There's always been work associated with living in a home. It's all dependent upon what kind of fucking home you want. This whole bickering about the home and workplace work, this shit is some fucking white middle-aged woman bullshit to begin with, man. All it is some middle-aged white woman bullshit These motherfuckers ain't have to work to begin with. Half of these motherfuckers didn't have to go to work if they didn't want to. But they decided to get these careers and be independent so they can wash their own fucking dishes in their house. You still gotta wash the motherfucking dishes. If you eating in your house, you still gotta wash the goddamn dishes. You still gotta make up the bed. You still gotta fucking do the laundry. You still got to do the motherfucking goddamn wiping down surfaces. You got to clean the toilet, the whole nine. You still got to do that shit whether you living with somebody else or you living by yourself. Now, I'm not saying that people have to be in relationships with each other. It's necessary or it's compulsory. I'm not saying that. If you want to be on your own, you can be on your own. But don't fucking make housework the pretext of like, I don't want to, he wants me to take care of him. He wants me to do this. If you're living by yourself, you're doing all the same shit any fucking way. All you're doing is washing an extra plate any fucking way. Look at Honey Graham. Look, again, I'm leaving the microphone open to anybody who would like to come in and make a comment. I'm going to invite again. Anyone who's desirous of engaging in a short-lived debate with me about what it is that I'm having a conversation about. Anyone is free. My line is open. StreamYard is ready. Whoever they may be, man, woman, or child. Whoever they may be. Now, it just so happens that I've never lived with a woman who's made more money than me. I've never done it. However, it is what it is. But what has that got to do with anything anyway? Who's making the most money? Who cares about that anyway? What does this have to do with who's making the most? Why does it have anything to do with who's making the most? So if that's the case, who's ever making the most, they automatically, right, are going to not have to do the work. They do less work. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm going back to the article. And if you come in, I'm going back to the article so when I come back, we can have the discussion further if you would like. But anyway, I'm going back to this article. Many women resist moving in with men because they remember the previous unequal division of labor in the home. They want a place of their own. Having a place of their own, she said, offers senior age women time to rest. All they do is sleep any goddamn way. Look, they want to have their own place in their own way, said DePaulo, an academic associate in sociology at the University of California, Santa Barbara. When a guy chats up 77-year-old Montrealer Rhoda Nadell at her tennis club, her brain quickly fast forwards. Dinner dates would turn into a relationship which will inevitably find Nadell cooking, cleaning, and eventually caregiving for the elderly gentleman. I don't want to take care of anybody. I just want to take care of me, said Nadell, who divorced her second husband 2 decades ago. You want to be friends and get together? When I say it's okay to get together, fine. But to be in a relationship where I have to answer to somebody else, been there, done that, won't do it again. As these solo dwellers age, the question becomes what happens when they grow frail and need someone to lean on. DePaulo argued that those who live alone often maintain broader networks of support than married couples do, pointing to a raft of international research. Partners who live separately for some portion of the week still tend to each other in sickness and are well positioned as caregivers because we have our own place to recharge our batteries and avoid the too all frequent caretaker burnout. said Hyman. Even so, many senior-age men struggle living alone. In other words, men are incapable of fucking doing anything for themselves. They got fucking bibs on. Like men don't know how to cook. Let me say something, man. This is the biggest bullshit in the world. First of all, who are the best chefs on the fucking planet? Is it women? No. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. But it's like the assumption that men are bumbling fucking idiots that don't know how to take care of their own fucking life. That they don't have the capacity, the innate ability to do anything useful for themselves. This is the way this whole entire article is couched. In terms of men needing, depending, having to have a woman do shit for him. Now, it would be nice. I mean, but the very notion that like men are this article leads me to believe that the sentiment, the framing, the discourse, the narrative being set out is one in which men are dependent upon the labor of women, and that there's a Marxian exploitation contract taking place where there's alienation taking place and exploitation. That's what I get from this. I get the fucking housework debate. I just never understood it. Especially in the sense of, let's say, for example, a woman is a stay-at-home woman. She doesn't work. And she complains about all the chores and all this shit that she has to do. I mean, really? Look, I swear to God, I put this on my dead mother's grave. On my dead mother's grave, man. You know what I'm saying? I could cook better than a woman. I can make macaroni and cheese better than a woman. I guarantee it, man. I can fry chicken better than a woman. I can clean a house better than a woman. I can make a bed better than a woman. Maybe not all women, but I don't need a motherfucking woman to do basic shit for me. I don't need that shit. But when your fucking tire go down and we out on the road, I want to see your ass get out there and fix that motherfucker. I want to see you get to it and break them damn lugs down. I want to see your ass open the motherfucking pickle jar. Stop asking me to open that motherfucker. You independent, goddammit. You open that bitch. Shit. You open that motherfucker. You get your ass out there and cut that fucking lawn and go see what the fuck is bumping around in the goddamn garage. Stop asking me to put that bullshit ass fucking pressboard ass furniture your ass got from Target or Walmart, motherfucker. And look, the kids say, I can change the tire. And that's good. I want to see you change it. Shit, I want to see you change it. Get to it. Ain't nothing to it. Put your back into it. Break that lug, baby. Break that bitch. Hey, crank that, hit that motherfucker up a little bit and start breaking them lugs, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and sip on this brew while you break that bitch down. Oh shit. You go ahead and get them calluses on your fingers and scratch your motherfucking hand. Like, nowadays, these motherfucking women are too prissy to fuck around and fucking change a tire. They're gonna call some man they know to fucking do it. If they ain't gonna do that, they're gonna call AAA. Or get some jackleg to do it. And pay his ass to do it. Let's just keep it 100 here. Let's keep it 100. I'm telling you what my experience has been. Motherfucker, I'm just telling you. Anything a woman can do in the household, I don't sew or no shit like that. I just don't do that. But I could if you give me fucking 2 weeks to do the shit, I bet y'all be doing that motherfucker. Better than the average motherfucking woman. Guaranteed. I'm talking about whatever the fuck it is. Because I don't have these fucking gender hang-ups. I can do any goddamn thing. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be, I feel competitive like that. I feel not even competitive with myself. I'm always striving to be better than I was at achieving some goal or some task. Sometimes I regress, but for the most part, I find myself improving, ameliorating, growing, being more fecund, as it were. But having said that, I'm silly, man. Look. I'm just keeping it real. I have confidence in myself, my capabilities, and my capacities. And what I'm getting from this is that men desire to be taken care of like they're fucking grown children. And no, honey Graham, you are not blocked. We don't block you. We don't block nobody. We let anybody in. Except if they start tripping, then they got to see their way out. You can be in, but if you start tripping, Sage's Apprentice, thank you so much for the kind donation, sir. I really appreciate it. And look, I want you to support the stream. If you like the quality content that you're getting here from the Green Gorilla channel, please make sure you make a donation. If you want this kind of programming to persist throughout time, then you have to invest in it. But anyway, having said that, sometimes I could be a real asshole, okay? I can be. But I mean well. Going back to the article, man, I'm almost done and through with it. But the conversation we're having here is the concept of the wall and women hitting it and men at some way or the other being in an advantageous position as it pertains to the dating game. But nevertheless, also what we're having a conversation about is women not being bothered or troubled by the concept of hitting the wall. Because they feel that they're not alone anyway, and that they have more to look forward to in their circle of friends and getting a little elderly ding-ding on the side every now and then. I'm sorry, man. Just every now and then, which, I would think that, some elderly ding-ding, man. Come on, man. Man. But you get the picture. They're saying it's better for them to live apart from a man. But this society has been doing this ever since the women's liberation movement. One of the chief goals of the women's liberation movement was to decenter the mononuclear family. This is just a fact. They had what were called lesbian communes. And many of these women abandoned their families. They abandoned their children. They took the female children with them. And they left their boy children and they left their husbands. This is what they did. And they went and they played guitar and they smoked reefer and did acid and, they had orgiastic sex. And they talked about fuck patriarchy, let's smash it. And ultimately, though, they disbanded these communes because they had begun to realize that these communes were filled with women who were just as much as assholes as the men they left. Fancy that. That women could be just as big as fucking assholes as men ever were. Fancy that. Fancy that. But anyway, man, back to the article. I'm almost done with it, man. And when I'm done with it, I'm done. Anyway, even so, many senior age men struggle living alone. Like, they can't do it. It's hard. All I hear is like fucking sad, slow fucking music about to come up, man. Like, I wish I could play some now. I just don't have any queued up. I wish I had an engineer. I'd say, engineer, cue me up some sad, lonely music that old men have to, they have to deal with. Shit. Hold on. That's too happy. That's a jazzy groove. Man, look, don't threaten Honeygram, man. Ain't nobody gonna threaten you over the line, man. We don't do that. You won't be threatened, even if you are, you're online. But anyway, so going back to the point, man, the idea is that many senior age, look, men are going to have to find a means by which to develop bonds with their friends. Stop depending on women for happiness. Stop depending on women to do shit for you. Because, as I said before, and I'll say it again, and it might hurt for women to hear this, but it's just the truth. It's the truth. They're telling you they're not loyal. They're creating the conditions in which they're saying, you, sir, I have nothing for you. I want to take care of myself. I don't want to have anything to do with taking care of you, sir. So anyway, Alfonso is slowly coming around to the living apart setup. After 5 years or so, or maybe more, after begging to marry this woman over and over and over and over and over again, he reunited with the reluctant widow, realizing that although she does not want to live under one roof, she does want a committed relationship. So you know what this shit signals to me? She wants what's best for herself. She doesn't really want to be in a committed relationship. She doesn't want to relate to Alfonso. She doesn't relate to Alfonso. She relates to her friends. Alfonso is her backup plan or plan B, like a little pill you take to abort the little thing you don't want growing inside of your uterus. Damn, I sound like a fucking hater, don't I? But I mean, this is the truth, man. He's plan B. He's not on the top list of priorities. This is the truth, man. She does not stand high. I mean, he does not stand high on her list of priorities. That's not a commitment. See, this is the shit that's fucking killing me nowadays. You got people who want to be in relationships, but they have no idea about what commitment actually entails. They want to have all of the benefits associated with being in a relationship, but they do not want to do any of the work that it takes to maintain it. They want, and especially as it pertains to women contemporarily, I will say this. There's no reason in the world why women should be expecting for men to do shit for them, special just for them, when they're out making the same kind of money that men are making. So why should I foot the fucking bill? I'm just asking the question. Why should I pay you for your company while you complain every fucking day about what the fuck you have to do? Why? Why? I'm asking the ladies out there. Why should fuck the Kevin Samuels situation? Because I'm not buying into that bullshit where I feel like I'm high value and I got to just take care of your ass and you know you're gonna be this good little Stepford wife and do everything I fucking say and jump like the goddamn dog on Coming to America. What the fuck do you bring to the table other than the shit that's in between your legs? What? I'm just asking the question. And the same can be said of men. A relationship is supposed to be reciprocitous in a whole variety of different ways. And it doesn't require men and women to be doing exactly the same things in order for it to be reciprocitous. Full of give and take, full of mutual beneficiality, full of cooperativeness. I'm just asking the question. That's all I'm doing is just asking the question. I don't have all the answers. I am asking the question because it's a question that I'm desirous of having knowledge about. If it is the case that women contemporarily live in a culture in which they're competing with men for wages and salaries, and they're roughly and equivalently capacious in their ability to get a job, to keep a job, to advance within the confines of a job, then what is it that you're looking for from a man that he has to do traditionally in relation to making sure that you got everything you want, you need? Why even step off into these relationships to begin with? This is the shit, it just fucks me up. Today I am actually flabbergasted because I don't get what the fuck is desirous anymore. I don't understand what people want anymore. I thought it was, okay, look, you're making money, I'm making money. This is what I thought. I'm making money, you're making money. Perhaps maybe we can take the money we're making together. Whoever makes the most doesn't really matter. Okay? Let's look at what we need to have in terms of a budget. We know we have to spend money on utilities. We know we have to spend money on transportation. We know we have to spend money on clothing and necessities. We know we have to spend money on housing and the maintenance of the housing. But how do we conjoin our incomes and use them to win in the marketplace? Not to fucking fight each other, but to fight the market in order to come out victorious and to establish something for ourselves. And if we have children, to be able to leave them with something. Because you can't take whatever it is you bickering about on this fucking planet with you to the next plane of existence if there is one. All this fussing and fighting about who's doing the most work. At the end of the fucking day, why not sit down, develop a schedule, and fucking plan out the work schedule? If it's that goddamn a contentious issue or that contentious of an issue. But see, that's not enough. That's not what the fucking problem is. The problem is we still live at a time, it's a transitionary time, in which women still expect, I'm telling you, this is my guess. You tell me if I'm wrong about this hypothesis. Women want the fucking boons that are associated with equality, but they don't want to bear the responsibility. They still feel that men are supposed to operate by the traditional rules of chivalry and all of this other shit with nothing in return. Because the work that women used to do, or the ways that women used to show men appreciation and to demonstrate dedication, they think that that is beneath them now. I just don't understand this. Women want these relationships. They demand that men don't just fucking smash. You can't just be smashing me. Well, shit, nowadays it seems like you can. What the fuck should you move in with one for? For what? What's the benefit? Other than a whole bunch of bickering and arguing over dumb fucking bullshit. Bullshit. I've invited several. I know women have listened. They're here on the channel. I mean, I got 180 people who are listening, so there's bound to be some women who are listening. And for some reason, they feel ultimately intimidated by the things I say. And I don't understand why. I'm just an average guy. I'm not going to help you find a fucking husband. I can, if you really actually, you want to hear some advice, the Derek Jackson motherfucker, he's not going to help you. Sorry. You listening to that guy, all he's going to do, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but he's not telling you the truth. He's going to make you lose weight. No, he's going to make you deflate like a true fiend's weight. You never are supposed to tell someone exactly what they want to hear. And never tell them shit that's corrective about their own behavior. And why they continuously find themselves in the same feedback loops. Even I need to hear criticism sometimes. Everyone needs to hear it. But the very idea, I mean, you know, consistently, the messaging is, you do nothing wrong. We live in a crazy world, man. We live in a crazy world right now. It's topsy-turvy. It's going to adjust itself, as things always do. Because for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. There always will be. Always has been, always will be. But there are those moments. Look, let me just tell you what I think. I think in this culture that we live in, motherfuckers got too much time on their hands and they don't know what the fuck they want. It's like being in a Walmart. And you really don't have a lot of money and you really don't have shit to do and you got some discretionary income to fuck around and blow, but you're just wandering around the fucking aisles looking for miscellaneous shit to do. This is what people in this country are like, man. Just rolling around the mall. Not having any particular destination, just fucking window shopping through life. Not dedicating themselves to a project. Or even dedicating themselves to relationships with people. And the consideration is that freedom to be able to do whatever you want, that's the best kind of freedom. Not the freedom to develop capacities and powers, not the freedom of self-perfection, not the freedom of self-realization through commitment to a task or the performance of a role, but freedom to just be able to do whatever you want to at any moment. And that's a problem with modernity itself. Because that's not how human beings used to be orientated towards the world. But see, now I'm waxing too philosophical, and I really didn't want to go down that rabbit hole and go into that and dive off into that bucket. So look, we stand at a crossroads. I think, personally, that there is good to be gained from men and women having relationships with one another, provided they can actually understand what the terms of their relationship is. This should not be exploitation within the confines of it for either party. Not everybody's rich. But even if you marry a rich motherfucker, that don't mean you're going to be living in the lap of luxury and ease. You can marry a rich motherfucker and it be a miserable marriage. This is the shit that the culture that we live in preaches, the shit that's actually the converse of what people need to hear. And one thing I will give Kevin some credit on is the idea that a lot of these women, man, out here looking for men, they've already turned their husband down because they couldn't see value in where they were at the moment. They thought the grass was greener on the other side, or still do think it's greener on the other side. You live in a society in which black men primarily have been artificially prevented from being able to advance. But then you want that same group, that demographic, and by the way, if you look at the wealth that black men have, the average black family, the wealth that they have, it's $2,000 to $3,000 when they die. This is the reality of the marketplace of men and women that you're dealing with. This is just a reality. And even when women do get with men that got money and good jobs, they still aren't satisfied, a lot of these people. Even men sometimes aren't satisfied. It ain't just a one-way street. But the satisfaction is internal. This culture that we live in teaches internal, incessant desire with the mundane and the minuscule. And that's just my viewpoint on it. It's not about the freedom to do exactly what it is you want to do at every waking moment or every hour of the day. It's about also, again, as I said, so you got negative liberty, which is the freedom of determination. Well, they call it SD, the freedom of self-determination. That's where freedom begins. But in and of itself, by itself, is meaningless. Then you have the freedom of self-realization, or coming to who you are, giving your commitment to a particular practice, a profession, a fucking role within the context of a family, in a community. And then you have the freedom of self-perfection, which has to do with capacity development. Nobody's talking about those things. Everybody, especially in the context of a relationship, people are talking about what can I get monetarily and when can I do whatever the fuck I want to do. And that's why we keep having these impasses. But again, I sound like an asshole sometimes, and I apologize for that. But then again, I don't at all. You know why? Because
keep it real with your dog no matter what.
I'm going to keep it real with you, whatever, man. It is what it is. But Alfonso, my advice to you is stop being a yes man.
Not only will I do it for you, yes, I'll do it for you.
Stand up for yourself, man. Gain some gumption and find some shit to do. Women are attracted to men with purpose and direction and determination. Some are envious of it, but, you know. So anyway, you know, I'm an hour and 40 minutes in, and I didn't expect to be in this long. All I want to do is say, you know, thank you for watching the Green Gorilla channel. Make sure, if you can, to stop by the website. And I need to ask you something about the website. If you've visited the website, thank you. If you have not visited the website, I would encourage you to go check it out. It's called greengorillachannel.com. But I have some questions about it because I don't know what your experience is of the website. I'm going to ask you a set of questions, and maybe you could leave some comments in the comment section, or maybe on a later show you could come in and give me some feedback and some input. But I don't know what your user experience is. I don't know if you're able to access it. I don't know if you have to register and sign in before, because I'm new to website development. But I'll tell you this, I guarantee you within a year, I'll have it fucking down pat. How about that? So I'm working on it. But please visit it And you can catch some content there. It's all contained in one space. I know Google doesn't like it, but you know, they only want you to be confined to one box. Fuck that. We grow. We reach out, we expand. That's what we do. We develop our capacities and powers. So, having said that, man, I love y'all, man. Y'all be peaceful. And I'm out of here, man. So, just be careful, fellas. Right nowadays, man, you might find you a woman, man, and she might not ever want to be in a relationship. And you're looking to be in one. And that's not a good place to be in. Find some purpose. Find some meaning in your life. And it's not always related to another person, and it's especially not and should not be with another person that doesn't hold you in the same regard as you hold them. And some of us have to learn that the hard way because our emotions get involved and our chemicals, our oxytocin gets involved. And it prevents us from seeing things with clear eyes. It's like Tom Cruise in the movie with Amy Kidman or Nicole Kidman, Eyes Wide Shut. Don't walk around with your eyes wide shut. And with that, I'm out of here, fellas. Y'all be good. I will see you Thursday. And we'll be talking about another lively and interesting topic. And then Friday, I'll be back again, and we're going to talk about the black family, which I know you will find interesting. I'm pretty sure you will. So, at any rate, again, we're going to talk about the patriarchy tomorrow and how the patriarchy, in actuality, is something the white women practice, although they say they're smashing it. So, have a great day, or a great night, rather, and I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Peace.
Yeah. I'm a phenomenon, I shine like Orion. I came in a rap gang to smack it up like Heron, transform it like Megatron. Wait, like Yamatron, most rappers are some peons. I'ma starve them like Ramadan, I'm troublesome. You don't really want no troublesome, cause I pop guns like hood chicks do bubble gum. I been dumb, gon' stay that way till kingdom come. When the sun I'm at, unleash a demon, a polygon. I'm heavy, son, got more knowledge than Farrakhan. More gang than Cap, karma that bitch, some name done one. Stay lit off some Shandan, maybe about they rum. Stay drink to some Nordstrom, call me that Dapper Don. More violent than Genghis Khan, the members of Taliban. Niggas faker than silicon, get hit like a .com, like soldiers in Lebanon. I'm bringing that red rum. When I get through with you, son, you gon' think I'll see rap. I carry weight like a heavyweight, bake more cakes than patty cake. Watch the fiend salivate. You a lightweight, bantamweight. Better contemplate if you violate. Make you levitate to the pearly gates. I fascinate when I conversate from the show me state where these niggas love to hate and hot murder rate. What a waste, but this flow is just a taste of God's grace. Shining this light in the ugly place. In the prophecy, got more wisdom than Socrates' philosophies. You don't really want no parts of me, can't you see? I'm slicker than Mephistopheles, stronger than Hercules, more dangerous than Damocles. The MCs trying me pretty please. I wait up they white tees, knock them out they wallabies. Now they touch my deliries. For coming up shorter than little C's when I break out the killer bees. I study music by Caucasian, hit chicks look like Ashanti. When I'm breaking them off, they yell at odd poppy. You rack rappers is sloppy, you can't stop me with that. We can sorry, copy, malarkey. I'm a monster like Frankenstein, rock harder than Palestine. You slams, dropping dimes, a snake and serpentine. Can't stand to see me glow like Nas with his big shine. All you haters cold in it, cold sores need calamine. But my hot shit like red brick, hit your head. Leave the sour taste up in your mouth like lemon heads, like Simply Red. Wasted some years up in the fans when I touched down. Already red, that gave me head. I got higher vision for higher living. I'm highly driven. I'm acting women like it's some sort of sick religion. Driving an Impala, sitting on it, these 20 inches, and they spinning just like the planets in the solar system.
Black country people, over in Africa, down to America. Black country people, we make all the world go round and around, yes. Black country people, up in Canada, down to Jamaica. Black country people, we make all the world go round and around.
Peace, motherfucker.